Imagine a war, but this isn't a war on a battlefield with guns and smoke. This is a 21st century war, waged in tweets, posts, in closed-door meetings, and right before the public's eyes. A war between two of the most powerful and influential men on the planet. On one side is Donald J. Trump, the 47th president of the United States, a real estate mogul turned politician who wields the power of the Truth Social platform and the loyalty of tens of millions of supporters. On the other side, Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, the space conqueror, the electric vehicle revolutionary, the owner of the X platform, and one of the richest men in the world. Their relationship was once likened to a golden alliance, a combination of political power and technological might that could reshape America. But in the blink of an eye, that alliance shattered. Friendship turned into enmity. Praise turned into the most bitter insults. What happened? What trigger set off the public confrontation that shook both the political and technological worlds? Today, we will peel back the layers of this incredible story. From the honeymoon days to the breaking point, the social media war of words, the vicious personal attacks, and its profound implications for free speech and the pockets of investors. To understand the bitterness of the separation, we must first look back at the warmth of this relationship. Many may have forgotten, but there was a time when Elon Musk was one of Donald Trump's strongest supporters. In the 2024 race for the White House, a staggering figure was revealed. Billionaire Musk was said to have donated or made indirect contributions of over $250 million to support Trump's campaign. This was not just a financial contribution. It was a huge vote of confidence from one of Silicon Valley's greatest minds. And when Mr. Trump won in November, what was one of his first moves? He invited Elon Musk himself to join his administration. Mr. Musk didn't just receive a symbolic position. He was given a colossal task, a mission befitting his disruptor reputation, to head a new agency called the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE for short. The goal of DOGE? To cut waste, streamline bureaucracy, and bring a tech startup mentality to clean up Washington. In the early stages of Mr. Trump's second term, Musk's footprint was everywhere. He carried out large-scale layoffs of government employees deemed inefficient. He decisively shut down numerous agencies with overlapping functions. Most importantly, he pushed for the consolidation and sharing of data between departments, an effort to break down the information silos that had existed for decades in the federal government. The two men lavished praise on each other. Trump called Musk a true genius, a national treasure. Musk, in turn, praised Trump's energy and determination. They seemed like a perfect pair, one with a populist political vision, the other with the ability to execute breakthrough technology. Together, they shaped the early days of an administration that promised to make America great again with unprecedented methods. The world looked on and wondered, is the Trump-Musk alliance the future? But, as they say, all honeymoons must end. The relationship between the two began to cool when President Trump's focus shifted from streamlining the government to a classic political issue, massive spending bills. And it was one of these bills that became the trigger for the war. The Republican Party, at President Trump's urging, introduced a massive budget bill. Mr. Trump described it as a beautiful bill, a document that would shape his economic legacy. But Elon Musk had a completely different view. In a shocking statement early that week, Musk, still in his administration role, publicly called the bill a terrible monstrosity. Why? Why would a once close ally use such strong words to criticize the president's darling bill? The answer lies in a small but crucial detail for Musk's empire: the electric vehicle tax credit. The Republican bill eliminated a significant federal tax credit for buyers of electric vehicles. For Tesla, this was not a small matter. This subsidy had helped boost sales for years, making electric cars more attractive to mainstream consumers. Its removal, in Musk's view, was a step backward for the clean energy revolution, and of course, a major blow to Tesla's bottom line. President Trump, who is famous for never letting a criticism go unanswered, immediately fired back. He didn't argue the details of the bill. Instead, he aimed straight at Musk's motives. In a press conference on June 1st, Trump said, "Elon is angry because we cut out the electric vehicle subsidy. That's a lot of money. They're having a hard time with the electric cars, and they want us to spend billions of US dollars to subsidize it." Elon knew this from the beginning. This was the most public and forceful criticism Trump had ever directed at his former biggest donor and closest advisor. The crack had appeared, and it was about to break wide open. Immediately after Trump's criticism, Elon Musk officially resigned from the administration. The atmosphere, to put it mildly, was less than friendly. And from here, the battlefield moved from the White House to cyberspace, the familiar territory of both men. Elon's initial reaction on X to Trump's comments seemed rather indifferent, with just one word, whatever. But that was just the calm before the storm. Soon after, Musk posted a barrage of articles, not only criticizing the bill, but also personally attacking the president. President Trump, not one to sit back, used his own weapon, the Truth Social platform. He posted a long article saying Elon went crazy after he was asked to leave his position in the White House. The verbal duel had officially begun, but words on social media were only part of it. Mr. Trump escalated the fight to a much more dangerous level. He publicly suggested that the federal government, as the largest customer, might reconsider its contracts with Musk's companies. This was not an empty threat. Musk's SpaceX holds contracts worth billions of dollars with NASA to send astronauts into space and with the Department of Defense for military satellites. Starlink, his satellite internet system, has become a crucial strategic tool globally. Severing these contracts would be a fatal blow, not only to Musk financially, but could also affect national security and America's space program. Trump had turned a policy dispute into an all-out war, using the full power of the government to pressure a private citizen, even if that citizen was the richest man in the world. Backed into a corner by the threat to his federal contracts, Elon Musk decided to deploy the nuclear option of public disputes, the Jeffrey Epstein files. In a shocking post, Musk claimed that President Trump's name was in the Epstein files, alluding to the list of people connected to the deceased notorious sex offender. To be clear, we need to look at the facts carefully. It is true that Trump and Epstein knew each other in the elite circles of New York and Florida years ago. However, in the hundreds of pages of documents released by the Department of Justice, there were no new revelations showing that Trump was involved in Epstein's criminal activities. Trump has never been accused of involvement in Epstein's abuse of minors. Trump himself has repeatedly denied it. He once posted on social media, "I was never on Epstein's plane or at his stupid island." However, the reality is a bit more complex. Flight logs released during the trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's associate, show that Trump flew on Epstein's private plane at least 7 times in the 90s. It should be noted that these logs do not specify the ages of the accompanying passengers. By raising this issue, Musk didn't need to prove anything. He just needed to sow doubt. In politics and media, insinuation is sometimes more powerful than evidence. This was a brutal personal attack designed to tarnish Trump's image in the eyes of his supporters. The war of words continued to escalate to bizarre levels. Trump declared, "I don't mind if Elon turns his back on me, but he should have done it a few months ago." Soon after, Musk, in a very Elon Musk-y moment, shared a post saying he would win if he had a cage match with Trump, and went even further by calling for the president's impeachment and his replacement by Senator J.D. Vance, a former Trump endorsee. The fight was no longer just about policy or business. It had become a contest of egos, of honor, and who would have the last word. Witnessing this public, intense feud, many around the world were astonished, and it highlights one of the most core differences between the US and many other countries, especially China. Imagine a similar scenario happening in China. A top tech billionaire publicly criticizes a policy of President Xi Jinping, calling it a monstrosity, then accuses the leader of being involved in a scandal. What would be the outcome? We all know the answer. The billionaire would likely disappear for months. His companies would be investigated, and he would face criminal charges for damaging the honor of the state leader.
In the US, the Trump-Musk war, however chaotic and ugly it may seem, is a living testament to the freedom of speech enshrined in the First Amendment. A citizen, whether ordinary or a billionaire, has the right to speak out and criticize the most powerful person in the country. This is a dialogue, albeit a harsh one, but it takes place openly. The question arises, which is truly better? A society where stability is maintained by tightly controlling speech, or a society that accepts the chaos of public debate as part of democracy? There is no easy answer. But this war is not just about political philosophy. It also has very real impacts on money. Try to put yourself in the shoes of a smart and well-informed stock investor. If you knew in advance that this war was about to break out, what would you do? A shrewd financial strategist might execute a move called short selling. You would borrow a large amount of Tesla stock and sell it at a high price. Then, when the news of the war between their CEO and the former US president breaks, the market will panic. Small-time investors will sell off their shares, causing the price to plummet. At this point, you would buy back that stock at a cheap price to return it, pocketing a huge profit from the price difference. This shows that freedom of speech can also be exploited. These high-level verbal battles are not just empty words. They create ripples that can generate huge profits for some, while potentially wiping out the savings of others. It raises questions about the line between expressing an opinion and manipulating the market. The war between Donald Trump and Elon Musk is a multi-layered story. It is a story of a broken friendship, of the colossal egos of two men unaccustomed to failure. It is a lesson in how politics and business collide in the 21st century. And it is a test of the limits of free speech. Who will be the ultimate winner? Can Trump, with his political power and ability to mobilize crowds, really cripple Musk's companies? Or will Musk, with his wealth, technological influence, and control over one of the world's largest media platforms, have the final say? This verbal sparring may only be the first chapter. It could affect the next presidential election, the future of the American tech industry, and how we define power in the modern world.